Words are delicious. That's what Richard Lederer suggests in his book Adventures of a Verbivore. When we share a love of words with our students, we give a gift that will provide a lifetime of benefits. Knowledge of words takes many forms. It involves a rich oral and written vocabulary, an understanding of patterns in spelling, strategies for reading unfamiliar words, knowledge of the grammatical functions of words, and an appreciation for the importance of word choice in speaking and writing. Children who know how words work are better equipped to face challenges both in and beyond school. They have extensive vocabularies for expressing their thoughts and ideas. They also know that writers and speakers choose words for particular purposes. Sometimes the intention is to persuade or manipulate the reader. Word-savvy students approach texts with a critical eye and learn to spot bias, whether it is in advertising, a headline in a newspaper, textbook, a video, or a website they visit for information. Word knowledge also helps students when they encounter new words. They know that many longer words can be deconstructed into meaningful parts. If they see the term interprovincial on a website, for example, they may look for the base word province, realize that the prefix into means between, and hypothesize that interprovincial means between provinces. This knowledge of words allows students to become more independent as readers and as writers, and to apply these principles no matter where they find unfamiliar words. An exciting feature of word study is that when students gain knowledge in one area, they almost always progress in other aspects of word use. For example, students learn in the early grades about the sound system of English as they explore spelling patterns. These activities certainly help them develop as spellers, but the knowledge of sound patterns is also useful when they decode unfamiliar words in reading. As they gain confidence in reading and are exposed to a variety of texts, they can recall many more words to use in their oral and written work. Language and word study supports development in oral language, reading, writing, and spelling. In a similar manner, vocabulary growth has consistently been shown to influence reading. In fact, vocabulary is one of the strongest predictors of reading comprehension. A startling statistic emerged from a study by B. Miller with grade 2 students. He found a 4,000 word difference in root vocabulary between the highest and lowest achieving students. The children with the least vocabulary knowledge were handicapped academically very early in their school experience. And it is reasonable to predict the gap would widen further with each grade as they encounter increasingly complex words in every subject area. The complex nature of word study can be viewed through the lens of Freebody and Luke's 4 resources model that describes 4 roles of a literate learner. As meaning makers, students use their prior vocabulary knowledge when they encounter new words while reading or listening. For example, knowing the meaning of medicine helps to predict the meaning of medicinal. As code breakers, students apply their knowledge of the alphabet and sound patterns to decode words, and structural patterns to deconstruct longer words, such as compound words or those with multiple prefixes and suffixes. As text analyzers, students critique texts, applying their understanding of the subtleties of word choice to detect bias. They recognize, for example, the importance of inclusive language and question a text that refers to firemen rather than firefighters. Finally, as text users, students use language appropriate to the audience and purpose when speaking and writing. They realize that there is a time for informal vocabulary and conventions, such as when text messaging or talking with friends, but also occasions when the conventions of formal speech and writing are required. So, instruction in the various components of word study is important at all grade levels. How teachers approach the study of words, however, is equally vital. Students need to be actively engaged in learning about how words work. They need to be investigators, observing words, detecting patterns, developing strategies, and thinking about their learning processes. In this way, their understanding of words goes beyond the level of basic definitions or simple word recognition. Students also need to have fun with words, to enjoy wordplay in the form of clever headlines, puns, riddles, tongue twisters. Effective teachers plan for word study but are also open to word study opportunities throughout the day in every subject area. Students need to see that they are surrounded by words, not only in the written text they encounter, but also in their oral language and the media forms that bombard them every day. Teachers can use their knowledge of developmental stages of reading and spelling growth to inform their long-range plans for word study. Ongoing assessment will help them to tailor instruction to the needs of each student. Word study is most effective when there are shared practices and a common philosophy among teachers in a school or school board based on a solid understanding of the knowledge base for vocabulary development and word learning. The teachers you will see in this webcast involve students actively in the exploration of words. They pose thoughtful questions to help their students reflect on the strategies they use for approaching the reading and spelling of unfamiliar words. Students are given time in large and small groups to think and talk about their learning. Connections are constantly being made between language patterns encountered in reading and the use of those patterns in student writing. Students possess a vocabulary with which to discuss language patterns. For example, they understand linguistic concepts such as base or root words, prefixes and suffixes, long and short vowels, and consonant blends. The classrooms you will see are rich in print resources, including anchor charts, word walls, a variety of text forms, and samples of student work. When teachers share their love of words by modeling effective speaking and writing, talking about favorite books, commenting on clever advertisements, and planning for comprehensive instruction in language and word study, they equip their students to engage more fully as citizens of the 21st century. 21st century learners need to be independent and apply their knowledge of words to multiple text forms. They're aware of the ever-changing nature of English vocabulary and realize how to select appropriate vocabulary for the speaking and writing context. They are aware of themselves as learners and adapt to the fast-paced world of communication. The students you will see in this webcast are already on their way to achieving these crucial goals. They are learning to take a critical stance and are developing the dispositions they will need in order to be lifelong learners. Those skills, coupled with confidence, creativity, and integrity, will set them up for success in the fast-paced, ever-changing, information-laden society in which they will find themselves.
It's cool because they open up. It always ends again up and down. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. Look, this is your guy.